Hello everybody and welcome back to another GRW class. So remember, we are doing our GRW A and this is A15, the cover, okay? So for today's class we are going to do GRW 3.6, I believe. Yes, 3.6, which should be A20, okay? A20. Now on A20, we have this new topic called connectors, okay? Connectors. C-O-N-N-E-C-T-O-R-S. Now you know the word connect, right? Connect means to put two things together into one nice thing. Now connectors are similar in English, right? So instead of things, we have different sentences, right? So even if they all end in a full stop, so there's one sentence, two sentences, maybe even 10 sentences or even 100, you can connect all of that sentences into one big idea. So connectors help us connect different ideas in a whole passage, okay? Now we usually use connectors to tell someone what to do or to help them what to do, and also for recipes. So when you're cooking or baking or making something nice, okay? All right, so over here, let's try to read the different parts of page 28, okay? So let's read together. I'll bring you to the whiteboard later, so now just read together, okay? So page 28, let's read together. We'll start from the very top part and then go through the examples, okay? So can we read together from the start, all right? So pay attention to your book and let's read together, okay? So connectors, first, then, next, after that, and finally. These words are called connectors as they help you connect your ideas and clarify which actions comes first. Now, clarify which actions come first means to tell you which one you should do first, which one you should do after the first one, which one you should do third, fourth, fifth, etc. until you come to the end. So there is a step, one by one step. Now connectors will help us do things and tell things one by one. Now, as far as ideas are concerned, let's say we are baking a delicious chocolate cookies, right? Now, if you want to bake chocolate cookies, you don't tell them, oh, put the cookies in the oven, and then you tell them mix the dough, the butter, the egg, and everything in the bowl. But how come we put in the oven first and then we make it, right? It should be we make it first and then put it in the oven, right? So there should be a sequence, an order, and then for the idea, the whole thing, right? Even if we have 5 sentences, first buy the ingredients, then get those ingredients and put them in a bowl. Next, mix the ingredients in the bowl. After that, put the ingredients into a baking tray and then make small circles for the cookies. Finally, put them in the oven to bake. So those are 5 steps, right? But all of those 5 steps have the same idea, which is just to bake a cookie, right? So all of those connectors are connecting all the different sentences to make an idea, a whole idea, and also to tell us what to do first and then the next and then after that, so on and so forth. They also make your what did they write here? Let me see. I think discourse is the right word. Let me remove this. Yes, discourse. Now, this is such a difficult word for elementary students, right? So let me just explain. Discourse, okay? D-I-S-C-O-U-R-S-E. Discourse means either communication, so talking to you face to face, or discourse can also mean text. So everything that is written down, right? So when you read something, that is discourse. When you listen to someone talking to you, that is also discourse, okay? So just a nice word to have you learn, I suppose, right? Anyway, well, let's move on further. They can divide it, so they means connectors. The connectors can be divided, meaning separated, right, into 3 different parts. The first one is introduction. Introduction means to introduce something for the very first time. So you will say first or firstly, but in this case we will say first. The second point is sequencing different actions, or to order the different actions. So after first, you have second, third, fourth, and fifth. Instead of saying secondly, thirdly, fourthly, fifth, sixth, etc., etc., if you don't want to use the numbers, then you can say first do this, and then the sequence, then you do this, next is to do this, and after that you do this. Now if after that is almost the final point, almost the last thing to do, then the very last thing is the conclusion, which is the third point, which we will use finally. Some might want to use in the end, or in conclusion, or at last. You can use many different types of conclusion, but for today we are going to use finally. Now, let's take a look at the example down below, okay? It's about a boy, and let's pretend that boy is Mr. Joe. So let's pretend that boy is me, okay? So this was me when I was a little boy. The example says, first, I brush my teeth. So you are introducing it, right? This is the first action. So first, I brush my teeth. Then I eat my breakfast, or I have my breakfast. Next, I wear my school uniform. After that, I pack my school bag. Finally, I get into the school bus. So let's try to keep it into 5 different actions, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 is the introduction, so we will use first. 2, 3, and 4 are the orders, right? So then, next, and after that. And then the 5th one is the last action, which is to go inside the school bus. So finally. So for most of our exercises today, we'll try to keep it at 5 actions. Now, what happens if we have more than 5 actions? Good question. I will show it to you on the whiteboard, okay? So again, on the whiteboard, let's turn our attentions to this part. So what are connectors, okay? So connectors are words to help us connect our ideas, okay? To help us connect our ideas. Connect means put things together, okay? Not exactly into one big sentence, but to connect them in different sentences, okay? Now it also helps us to tell which actions come first. Now remember that, okay? Because the order can help us understand how to do things, right? So instructions, right? So the instructions are, for example, first you do this, second you do that, and then after that, finally, right? These are instructions. So for the first part, the introductions, we will use words like first, or sometimes, right? We don't need to import not too important, but you can also use firstly, or you can also use in the beginning. Right, so these are just other things, right, that you can use, other words. Now we will keep our attention with first, okay, for the introductions. And then for the sequence or the order, we have then, next, after that, so on and so forth. We also have the word just after, instead of after that. We also have first, so second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, etc. If you use firstly, then you can say firstly, wash the dishes so it's clean. Secondly, take out the chicken in the refrigerator to defrost it. Thirdly, prepare your oil, your pepper, and etc., right? So you can use firstly, secondly, thirdly, right? But for today, we are going to learn about first, then next, after that, and finally, for the conclusion, the last step. Now, other words that you can use instead of finally are in the end or at last. For example, if you are baking a cake. Now, baking a cake has so many steps. The last step is to decorate your cake, right? So you can say, finally, decorate your cake with some icing sugar, some fruit, and some sparkles, right? Or you can say, in the end, you can decorate your cake, or at last, you can decorate your cake with this and that, and so on and so forth. Right, so these are what we're going to use today, just the 5. First, then, next, after that, and finally. Everything else are just optional, okay? We could use it, but for today we are going to use just these 5, okay? Now, some of you might have raised the question, Mr. Joe, what if there's more than 5 steps? Say there's 6 steps. What should we do? Simple. Let's take a look at the example that I've given you. First, I go to school by bus. Then, I line up for morning assembly. Next, we have classes. After that, we have recess. Then, we have some more lessons. Finally, we can have our lunch and play games. Now, if you take a look at how many connectors I have, it can show you how many actions there were. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Mr. Joe, you said that, right, we were focusing on 5. That means we can use one more than once. Yes, of course, you can use these connectors more than once, except for first and finally. Because first means the very first thing, and finally means the very last. Now, then, next, after that, and here you can see we use then again. So in fact, there's only 3 connectors of different types, right? But of the same usage, just to sequence them. Now, can I change this another then to after that? Let's see. Okay, let's read. First, I go to school by bus. Then I line up for morning assembly. Next, we have classes. After that, we have recess. After that, we have more lessons. Yes, you can. You can change that to another after that. Now, can we change it to another one? Let's say next, okay? Let's use next. All right? So let's say, first I go to school by bus, then I line up for morning assembly. Next we have classes, after that we have recess, next we have more classes, and finally we can have our lunch and play games. Yes, you can. Again, you can repeat these sequence words except for first and finally, okay? Except for first and finally, all right? Okay, very good. Now, let's go to page, before we go to page 29, let's go to the TV, okay? So let me show you my TV. And we have a very interesting recipe, all right? So maybe your mommy and daddy loves to drink this in the morning or maybe in the afternoon, right? Just to relax. Now, this is an English style tea, okay? So tea in Hong Kong is a different style, right? Tea in Hong Kong is mostly just Chinese tea, right? So jasmine tea, oolong tea, okay, pu'er tea, right? But here we have a different type of tea. Now this one is usually served in the UK or England, okay? So they might be different. All right, so this recipe tells us how to make a cup of tea. How to make a cup of tea. So here we can see this is a cup of tea with a saucer on the bottom to catch any spilled tea. And then we have a small little teaspoon. Now this teaspoon is for us to take up some sugar and then help us stir the sugar, the tea, and maybe some milk if we like. Now here we have the same connectors. Okay, we have the same connectors here. First, next, then, after, or after that. Again, I told you you can use different types of connectors. In this case, they use after. We can say after that as well. And then finally, towards the end. Now, see that there are no commas here, but please, when you're writing down connectors, it's important to put a comma. Okay, there should be a comma in between the connectors and the rest of the sentence. So that's the mistake here, okay? They need to put a comma in between the connector and the sentence. So let's take a look at the first sentence. Now, although we have 5 different sentences, this is one same idea. Just talking about how to make some tea, okay? How to make some tea. All right. So, over here, right? So we have the first one. So, introductory, right? Introduction. First, we boil some water. First, we boil some water. So this is the number one thing we have to do before we do all the steps. So now we know that because of the connectors. Now if we don't have these connectors, right? And then this sentence appears on the bottom. Do we know what to do? Not exactly, right? So if we have first here, first we boil some water, and then it's all jumbled up, then of course we know that the first thing we need to do is to boil some water. All right? Then we have the next one, right? So next, serve the water in a cup. Again, when we have the connectors in front of the sentences, there should be a comma, and then this part of the sentence should be in small letters, not capital. So this one, right, there's some mistakes here. Then put the tea bag in the water. Now in Hong Kong, right, we use loose leaf tea, which is just the leaves not inside the tea bag, right? But in some countries, or even some people in Hong Kong like to use tea bags instead of loose leaf, right? Put the tea bag in the water. After that, add some sugar and milk. Finally, add a biscuit and enjoy. You can see here there's a small tiny biscuit, right? Now in England, or in the US where I grew up, we like to have tea with some biscuits. Now, I grew up calling this cookies, right? And so we would dip the cookies or the biscuits in the tea, and then the tea will be inside the biscuit, and then you bite it, and it's so delicious, right? So again, these are the connectors, okay? So first, next, then, after that, and finally. Again, there should be a comma in between, and also the letters here should be a small letter and not a big one anymore. All right? So we will be doing something similar to this. Instead of making a cup of tea, we will be making a cup of coffee. Amazing, right? So let's go to page 29 of our workbook. Page 29, everybody. Now on page 29, we have pictures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, we're sticking to 5 things. Now, the problem with these pictures are they are not exactly the same to the words down here. So we have a spoon of coffee. Do we have here? Yes, a spoon of coffee. Then here we have boiling water. Do we have any boiling water here? No, right? Now this one, what does it mean? Right? It doesn't mean anything. So, if I would have changed the pictures instead to make it more easier for you. But let's try to allocate these into different parts, okay? So if you're making a cup of instant coffee, these are the things you do. So first, you get a spoon of coffee and put it in a cup. Then, hot water, right? So what will you do with the hot water? Then you add the hot water. And then this one. Now, I know nothing is happening here, right? But this is supposed to be, I think, so boil the hot water and then put the hot water in a cup, right? So have a spoon of coffee, put it in a cup, boil the water, and then put the hot water in the cup with the coffee. And then you put in some milk, and then you put in some sugar, and then you stir. Now, the problem is, like I said, these steps are not the same steps as the words. So don't pay attention. Don't mix up the picture and the words, okay? So they are two different things. So now that we know, we have to first get a spoon of coffee and put it in a cup, boil some water, and then that boiled water, you put it in the same cup with the coffee, and then you put some milk if you like, and you put some sugar if you like, and then you mix it all about with a teaspoon. You stir it, okay? Now, write a number in the box to indicate. Indicate means tell. To tell the order in which you do these things to make a cup of coffee. So, the order of the sentences are wrong. So now you have to give me the numbers and tell me which one comes first, next, then, after that, and finally. All right? Okay, so let's try to take a look which one comes first. Add some milk. All right, is that the first step to do? You put some milk into the cup? No, right? What about the next one? Put 1 spoon of coffee in a cup. Is that the first one? Maybe, right? Maybe. What about add the hot water? Also maybe, right? What about stir the coffee, the sugar, the milk, and the hot water together? Is that the first thing to do? No, right? So silly. How come you stir everything together when you haven't even had anything, right? And then what about add some sugar? Add sugar to what? Add means to put something in already, something that exists, right? So it shouldn't be this one, it shouldn't be this one, and it shouldn't be this one. So we are caught in between. Oh, and also not add some milk, right? So again, the word add means you put something into something already there, right? So add cannot be the first step. So add some milk, not the first one. Add hot water, not the first one. Add some sugar, not the first one. Stir the coffee, the sugar, the milk, and the hot water together. This one, of course, cannot be the first one because we don't have everything yet, right? Yes, that's right. So the first one is to put 1 spoon of coffee in a cup. Now this is the first step. Okay, so write down number 1 there. Put 1 spoon of coffee in a cup. That is step number 1. Now after that, what will you do? You will add the milk, the cold milk you will put in the coffee powder? No, right? You need the hot water to melt down the coffee powder. So the next one is add the hot water. So that is step number 2. Easy peasy, right? Step number 2 is add the hot water. Now, what about step number 3? What happens after you add the hot water? Now, these are optional. Optional means if you like it, then you add it. If you don't like it, then you don't add it. So which one should it be? That's right. Add some milk according to the picture, right? Before the sugar should be the milk. So add some milk. Number 3, right? Number 3 is add some milk. Now, what's number 4? Number 4 should be add some sugar, right? Because here you can see, right? Stir the coffee, the sugar, the milk. How will you stir the sugar if you haven't added first? So you have to add the sugar first. So number 4 is add some sugar. And lastly, number 5 is stir the coffee. Stir means mix, okay? Stir means mix, okay? Stir the coffee, the sugar, the milk, and the hot water together. Together means all at once, right there in the same cup. So all together we have first, number 1, then number 2, next, number 3, after, number 4, or after that, number 4, and finally, number 5. Now, here we have the 5 actions. So we have first, then, next, after that, and finally, which is the same that we can find here on part 2, down below. Can you see that, everyone? Alright, so down below over here. Can they see it in the camera? Okay. Alright, so over here, write a short paragraph using sequence markers, which is first, then, next, after that, and finally, to describe how to make an instant coffee. Should be an, okay? If it's wrong in your book, please change it. An instant coffee. Instant means easy to make, okay? So, it is the same as part 1. You just write down it on part 2. You have to order them, okay? So we have first. Which one comes first? Can you tell me? That's right. It should be put 1 spoon of coffee in a cup. So this is very easy. They already gave us the sequence markers, right? First, then, next, after that, and finally. Now we just have to match them with the numbers, okay? So first is number 1. Alright, so we will change the letter P to a small letter P because we already have the first word, which is first. So pay attention. Here we can find a comma, right? There should always be a comma in between the sequence and the rest of the sentence. So first, put P-U-T 1-O-N-E, spoon, S-P-O-O-N, of, O-F, coffee, C-O-F-F-E, in, I-N, just letter A, and cup, C-U-P. Don't forget your full stop. Now this is the answer for number 1. First, put 1 spoon of coffee in a cup. Write that down, please. Okay, moving on. Question number 2. Then. So this is number 1. So number 2 is then. So which one here is number 2? Add the hot water. Now again, we have a capital A here, but here in the sentence, we already have the first word then. So the capital letter A will become small letter A. Again, if you can see, there is a comma. So remember, there should be a comma there. Then add ADD, the THE, hot, HOT, water, WATER. Don't forget your full stop again. So we have first, put 1 spoon of coffee in a cup, then add the hot water. Next is 1, 2, 3. So next should be number 3 because it's 1, 2, 3. So which one here is number 3? Next. Very good. Add some milk. Again, next is capital letter N and we have a comma. So add should be small letter A. So add ADD, some, SOME, and then milk should be MILK. And then don't forget your full stop again. All right, easy peasy, right? Now let's go on to number 1, 2, 3, 4. So after that is number 4. Now which one here is number 4? After that, very good. Add some sugar, number 4. So now we will change again the big letter A into a small letter A. Add ADD, some, SOME, sugar, SUGAR. Again, there is a comma that separates the connectors from the rest of the sentence. So we have done 1, 2, 3, 4. Lastly is number 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Lastly, or finally, or in the end, right? Or at last, finally, is to stir the coffee, the sugar, the milk, and the hot water together. Okay? So to mix them all about, or to stir. Okay? So finally, again, there is a comma, and F in finally is big, so stir should be small. STIR, the coffee, THECOFFEE, comma, so more than one, right? Finally, stir the coffee, the sugar, THESUGAR, the milk, THEMILK, and of course, don't forget the hot water, HOTWATER, together is TOGETHER. Very good, okay? See, I had to take a deep breath there because lots of letters, right? So number 5 is stir the coffee, the sugar, the milk, and the water together. Finally, stir the coffee, the sugar, the milk, and the hot water together. Or hot water. I forgot the word the. Now, let me correct myself. And the hot water together. So I hope that you understand how to make recipes now, right? You have the sequence over here. First do this, then do that, after that do this, etc. and etc. Okay? Easy peasy, the lemon is very squeezy, right? Alright, so speaking of squeezing lemons, let's move on to try and make other things with different types of fruit or vegetables. So do you know that lemon is a fruit, not a vegetable, right? Alright, anyway, moving on. Page 30, we have 2 different parts. The first one is to take a look at the picture and see which one comes first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. After that, we are going to write down a passage with the sequence. Okay, so first, then, next, after that, finally. Okay, we will write down on our own over here. Now, let's take a look at the pictures. Now, I didn't draw the pictures because it would take too much time and too much space, right? So what I want you to do is, it's the same one. 1, 2, 3 on top. We also have 1, 2, 3 on top, and then 1, 2 at the bottom. We have 1, 2 at the bottom, and then we have the line over here beginning in first. We also have the lines over here beginning with first, okay? So it's all the same. So I doubt that you will get confused because it's pretty much the same, right? So we have 5 pictures, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, same as the book, right? Now, there are sentences inside each picture. The first one is, a little green pumpkin starts to grow. Now, the second one is, make a pumpkin pie. And then the third one is, plant the pumpkin seeds. The fourth one is, the big orange pumpkin is ready to pick. The second one is, a tiny plant grows. Now, which one comes first? Do you first make a pumpkin pie, and then you have a small pumpkin growing, and then that small pumpkin that's growing will become a tiny plant, and then that tiny plant will become a big orange pumpkin, and then that orange pumpkin will become a seed? No, right? That's so silly. How come? How come you bake a pie first, and then the pie will become a pumpkin, and then the pumpkin will become a small plant, and then the small plant will become a big pumpkin again, and then become a seed at the end? So silly, right? What kind of world are you living in? Right? So, instead, we have to correct the order. This is all wrong. So which one should come first? Can you tell me? Oh, I can hear lots of interesting ideas. Yes, so good, boys and girls. Very good. The first one is, the orange pumpkin is ready. What? No, right? That's wrong. Oops, sorry. The first one is, to make a pumpkin pie. Oh, also wrong? All right, that's right. It should be, first you plant the pumpkin seeds. How will a plant grow if you don't have a seed, right? First, you need a seed. So just mark down the picture. This is number one. Number one is plant the pumpkin seeds, right? Number one is plant the pumpkin seeds. Now, you don't have to write this down because you already have it on your book, right? You don't have to write down the sentence. You only need to write down the number. So this is the first one. Now, so if we plant the pumpkin seeds, what will happen to this pumpkin seed? Can you tell me? Oh, the pumpkin seed will become a pumpkin pie? Wow, what a nice seed you have. The pumpkin seed will become a pumpkin pie already. No, right? Of course not. Don't be silly. So this pumpkin seed will become, of course, it will become a very big pumpkin, right? But before it becomes a big pumpkin, it will first grow into a tiny little plant, okay? So this is number two, the last picture, okay? So, a tiny plant grows, right? A tiny plant grows. This is the second picture, or the second action, I should say. The last picture is the second action. A tiny plant grows. Now you can see such a cute little plant, right? So cute, so cute. Only 2 leaves. Now, after that tiny little plant will grow, will it become a pie? Wow, so nice. You plant a pumpkin seed, and then the pumpkin seed will grow into a tiny little plant, and then that tiny little plant will become a delicious pumpkin pie. No, right? Again, stop being silly. So after the plant grows very tiny, then it will become a bigger plant but have a small fruit. So that small fruit or small vegetable will be the pumpkin. So should it be the orange pumpkin first or the green pumpkin first? Which one is the baby pumpkin? How about a baby banana? Baby banana is first color green, right? And then after the banana become an adult or become ripen, right, becomes okay to eat, then it becomes yellow or, you know, other colors. Maybe a purple banana. Sometimes there's a purple one, you know. So which one? That's right, it should be a green pumpkin first, right? So that should be number 3. Number 3 is a tiny or a little, so I'll write it down, a little L-I-T-T-L-E, a little green, G-R-E-E-N, pumpkin, P-U-M-P-K-I-N, starts S-T-A-R-T-S. I'm running out of space. 2 T-O, grow is G-R-W, okay? G-R-O-W. Oh no, I ran out of space. Right, so a little green pumpkin starts to grow. Now after that little green pumpkin starts to grow, it will become a pumpkin pie. Oh no, right? Because how will a pumpkin pie become a big pumpkin afterwards? So silly, right? So of course, a little green pumpkin that's starting to grow will become a big orange pumpkin, no longer a little green one, right? So before, the pumpkin friends of this little green pumpkin always make fun of this one. They say, oh, you're such a small green pumpkin. But now, this green pumpkin is a big orange pumpkin, right? So this is picture number 4. So the big orange pumpkin is ready to pick. Pick means to take out from the ground to use, right? So this should be number 4. Oops, no more ink also. THE, orange, ORANGE, the orange, the big, I forgot big, BIG, the big orange pumpkin, PUMPKIN, is ready, READ, TO, and pick, PICK. Wow, look at that, Mr. Joe's tiny handwriting fits in a tiny box, right? The big orange pumpkin is ready to pick. Now, let's move on to the 5th one. So the 5th action, which is finally to make a pumpkin pie. Make a pumpkin pie, right? So this should be the last point. Number 5 is to make a pumpkin pie. Oopsie daisy, what's happening to my ink pens? Alright, so number 5, I don't know if I can fix it. Let's try. Let's try this. Okay, we are in this together. Alright, so number 5. Oopsie. Oh, okay, so I really ran out of ink. So, I will try to use my red pen works. Okay, so the 5th one is the last one, right? So, make the pumpkin pie. I think. Okay, we're good. Make the pumpkin PUMPKIN. Pie is PIE. Make the pumpkin pie. Hooray! Alright, so now we have the numbers. The first one is plant the pumpkin seeds. The second one is a tiny plant grows. Next is a little green pumpkin starts to grow. And then after that is the big orange pumpkin is ready to pick. And the 5th one is make the pumpkin pie. Now on your book, I want to see on your book the numbers, okay? Number 1 is here. Number 2 is here. Number 3 is here. Number 4 is here. And number 5 is here. So we know this is first, next, or first, then, next, after that, finally. Again, first, then, next, after that, finally. Now that we know which words to use, can you put them together, the sentences and the connector? So first, plant the pumpkin seed. So let's write that down. First, plant the pumpkin seed. So I will use my beautiful black pen this time. I think it works now. So first, number 1, plant the pumpkin seed. So I'll write down small p, of course, because already big F. So plant, PLANT. Yes, already finished this word. The, THE, finish this word. Pumpkin, PUMPKIN. Very good. And then seeds, SEEDS. Very good. First, plant the pumpkin seeds, and then that's the end, right? Full stop. So first, plant the pumpkin seeds. Is it the same? Yes, so we finished picture 1 already. Now after picture 1 should be picture 2, right? So 1, 2, of course. You don't count 1, 3, 2, 4, 5, right? It should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 2 is, what should we use for the number 2? Is it first, or finally, or then? Right, it should be then, right? So maybe I'll use another line so it's easier, right? So you write down then, THEN. What is missing? I need to put something there. Should I put a chocolate cake? No, right? Should I put a cute cat? No, right? It should be the comma. Remember, there should be a comma in between the connector as well as the rest of the sentence. Now, then is used for number 2. So we put a tick already. Then, very good. Now, a tiny plant grows should be the sentence that you will connect the word then to. The next step, right? So then a tiny plant grows. Because we have the first word here already, then, with a capital T, the capital A in the beginning sentence, or the beginning word of picture 2, will become a small letter A, of course. Then a tiny plant, P-L-A-N-T, grows, G-R-O-W-S, okay? Yes. Tiny, yes. Plant, yes. Grows, okay? Yes. So, full stop. We have completed picture number 2. Alright, now let's do picture number 3. What comes after next? What comes after then? Oopsie, I gave you the answer, right? What comes after then? You can take a look at page 28, okay? So we've already done first, we've already done then, after then is next, after next is after that is finally. So then and then next, right? So now we have to write down next. So number 3, you are next, okay? So next is N-E-X-T. Again, capital letter N for the first one, and then comma after the connector. Next. So 1, 2, 3. So number 3 should be the next one. A little green pumpkin starts to grow. All right? So let's write that same thing down. A little, L-I-T-T-L-E, green, I forgot the color is always green, G-R-E-E-N, pumpkin, P-U-M-P-K-I-N, starts, S-T-A-R-T-S, to T-O, and grow, G-R-O-W. Don't forget your cute little full stop, okay? Let's check. Little, green, pumpkin, starts, to, grow, and grow. A little pumpkin starts to grow. Very good. We've done picture number 3 together. So this is the sequence for number 3. Now, I will have to ask you to do the next ones, right? So I'll give you a hint. The next ones are after that. And finally. Now, simple, right? This is number 1, number 2, number 3. What numbers do you think comes next? It's all up to you, right? You have to know already by now. So can you please do questions number 4 and 5 together? Right? So this should be picture 4 and picture 5. All right, so do that by yourself. I'll give you maybe 2 minutes from now. Is that, yeah, I think that's good. 2 minutes from now is okay. So questions number 4 and 5, you choose which one is 4 and 5, right? After that and finally. It's so easy, right? I've given you the answer mostly. So now you have your 2 minutes to write down the answers, okay? All right, 2 minutes starts now. Okay, let's check our answers together, okay? Alright, so number 4 should be the big orange pumpkin is ready to eat. So write down after that, okay? Letter A is capital, and then don't forget your comma. So after that, and then now small letter T, T-H-E, the big, B-I-G, orange, O-R-A-N-G-E, pumpkin, P-U-M-P-K-I-N, is, I-S, ready, R-E-A-D-Y, to, T-O, pick is P-I-C-K. The big orange pumpkin is ready to pick. Now let's check if it's correct. The, yes, big orange pumpkin is ready to pick. Very good, all correct. Now, of course, the last one is to make the pumpkin pie, right? So number 5, finally. Now that we have the first word, which is the connector, we will put the capital letter at the first word. Now, please don't forget the comma in between the connector and the rest of the sentence. Now, this capital letter M in number 5, make the pumpkin pie, will become the small letter M. Make is M-A-K-E, the, T-H-E, pumpkin, P-U-M-P-K-I-N, pie, P-I-E. Now, I expect you to know how to write pumpkin by now, right? Without having to look at the spelling, because you've written down pumpkin how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times now, right? So this is the end of page 30, right? So let's check the answers. Make the pumpkin and pie. Yes, very good. That is all correct. Now, please make sure you've gotten all the answers correctly written on the spaces provided. I know we have 2, 4, 6, 7 lines, right? Just in case some of you write very big and beautiful letters, right? So some of the students will write down very big, beautiful letters everywhere, right? So if you write down big, beautiful letters, you need more lines, right? So I write down small letters, so I only need exactly 5 lines, okay? So those lines are just for you to use just in case you need more spaces, all right? Okay, moving on. Page 31. Page 31, we have a story about okay, let's just wait. So page 31. Okay, so page 31 is the guided writing exercise. Now, again, as per guided writing, I will only do one picture for you, okay? This is your exercise to train how to make sentences and how to build up stories. Now, we have 4 pictures. What I want you to do is use what we've learned today. We've learned about first, then, next, after that, and finally. I want you to use that in the actions that are happening. Now, what if you say there are only 3 actions, but we have 5 connectors and 3 actions? The first one is first, and then the ending is finally. So what can I put in the middle? Well, you can say first I do this, after that I do that, and then finally I do this. You can use either one of the middle sequence, right? Even if there's only 3 actions, you can still use them. First I do this, and then I do that. Finally I do this, right? You can use that. Even if 4, then you can say first I do this, then I do that, after that I do this, and finally I do this, right? So 4 actions. It doesn't have to be always 5. It can be 2. It can be 3. It can be 4. It can be 5. It can be 10 also, right? All right. Anyway, we have the beginning of the sentence. Today it is my grandfather's birthday. Now there's a comma in between today and the rest of the sentence, similar to connectors, right? So today it is my grandfather's birthday. So what are they doing in picture 1? They are decorating, right? They are decorating. Now, what are they decorating with? With some balloons which are already up. So the balloons are already up. So you can say this is number 1. Balloons are already number 1, right? And then they are putting the happy birthday sign. So happy birthday sign is number 2. So you have 2 actions in picture 1, right? So today it is my grandfather's birthday, right? And then where's the where, right? We can talk about the where. Maybe at home. And then who is decorating? You can say, if you are a girl, then you can pretend you are the girl, and then the boy is your brother, and then the big boy is your daddy, right? So you can say your family. Right? Of course your family, because it's your grandfather's birthday. So we have all of these notes in picture 1. So they're decorating with balloons, which was the first one, and then happy birthday sign, the second one, and then it is at home with the family. So you can start with these 2 first, okay? So today it is my grandfather's birthday. My family and I, what did you do? Decorated oh wait, today it is, okay? So you can just use the present tense. My family and I decorate our home. Full stop. Now, number 1 is first, right? First, comma, we decorate with, what's the first one? Balloons, right? So B, A, double L, double O, N, S. Put a full stop. So we've done this already. We've done the balloons. Now we haven't done the birthday sign. So today it is my grandfather's birthday. My family and I decorate our home. First, we decorate with balloons. What comes after first? Then, right? So THEN, comma. Then, what did you do? We, right? So we put up the what? The happy birthday sign. SIGN. Full stop. So you've done this already, right? So we have 2 actions in picture 1. Now we also have more actions in picture 2, right? Not yet finally, right? So what is the next action in picture 2? So grandpa is already at home, right? So there are visitors. So you can say at home, right? So grandpa, what's grandpa doing? Or grandfather, right? Because they say grandfather. So he is, or he receives or gets gifts from his visitors. And then he also will say hello, right? He will also say hello to his visitors, right? When they arrive. When they arrive. So we've already done action 1 and action 2. So what comes after, right? So this is one continuous action. Maybe we can have 8 actions altogether, right? So after that, then which one will come first? Grandfather will get all the gifts from his visitors, or he will say hello to the visitors first when the visitors arrive. Do you go to the people and get the gift and then say hello? No, right? You say hello first and then you get the gift. So number 3 action should be this one. Say hello to the visitors first and then get the gift from the visitors, right? So how do we write that down on the passage? See, now I'm doing 2 pictures for you, right? I'm being very generous. So you can write down, first we decorate with balloons, then we put up the happy birthday sign. Alright? next one. So you can say after then is next, right? So next, comma, don't forget the comma, grandfather, what did he do? Says hello, right? So S-A-Y-S, hello, to his visitors when they arrive. Full stop. So this is the third one. We've already finished. So we've done action 1, action 2, and action 3. Now you have action 4, and then maybe you have more in picture 3, and then maybe more also in picture 4, right? You'll have some more actions that you can use. Now, again, as I said, you can use the action, you can use the sequence words like then, next, and after that many times. You cannot use first many times, oops, I forgot the S, and you cannot use finally many times, right? These are only one time, okay? After that, then, and next can be used many times. Only first and then, oops, I forgot the letter Y. Finally can only be used once or one time only, okay? Now you still have some space, right? What you can write is question number, or action number 4. So we've already have next, grandfather says hello to his visitors when they arrive, right? Now what comes after next? After that, right? So after that, comma, after that what? He, you can say he now because it's grandfather again. He receives or gets gifts from his visitors, right? So you can write that down. Gets gifts from his, visitors. Full stop. So now we've done action 4, right? So 4 is also done, right? Simple as that. Now, we still have some time, so I'll make notes for you on picture 3 and picture 4. I hope I can do picture 4. Let's try, okay? Ooh, I'm running out of ink everywhere, right? So now let's try and see if the blue one works. Oopsie. Okay. Alright, so this is picture, oh, we are barely there with the blue one as well. Okay, so with picture 3, what is happening? We can see grandma, right? What is grandma doing? So grandma, she is serving what? Serving food on the table. What else is happening? So when grandma serves the food on the table, what will she do afterwards? She will ask everybody, right? So she will ask everyone to gather. Gather means come together, right? Around the table. Now, which one comes first? She will put the food on the table first, and then we'll call everyone to come around? Or she will call everyone around first and then put the food on the table? Which one do you think? Will she make the people wait? No, right? First she will put the food on the table, and then, oops, not number 4, should be number 5, right? Number 5, and then number 6 should be, she will call everyone to come. Now we are more than 5 actions, right? Now we are on 6. But that's okay. We can continue using which words? We can use then many times. We can use after or after that many times. We can also use next many times, okay? So these connectors can be used many times. Now let's try to do the 5th one, okay? Grandma serving food on the table. So we can use, let's go back, we've already used after that, so let's go back to then, right? So you can say, then, comma, don't forget the comma, grandma, again small g, grandma serves food on the, oh, no more space. I'm sorry if you can't see, but this is table, okay? Now, we've done action number 5, right? So 5. We've gone back to then. After using after that, so we went back to, where's then? Then, right? So you can use then, after that, and next many times. Now it's your job to complete pictures 3 and pictures 4. These are my examples for you. You don't have to copy it 100%. If you want to change it up, change the story a little bit, you please may do it, okay? I would be very interested in reading your own creation. That would be more interesting than just following what I wrote, okay? But this is a guide for you so you can understand what to write using the connectors. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you have more than 5, then you can keep using these 3 again and again, and then the last one should be finally. First and finally can't be used more than once, okay? They can only be used once. First in the beginning, finally at the end, all right? Okay, everybody, very good. So I hope you can finish your homework, which is page 31 of our workbook, and it is the guided writing exercise about my grandfather's birthday. So try to make it exciting and happy, okay? All right, everyone, good job today. Today you've learned about the connectors. First, then, next, after that, and finally. Please remember there is a comma after these connectors, all right? Now, if you get confused again on your own at home, and you ask your mommy and daddy, or your mommy and daddy are not available to help you, you can go again to page 28 and read the example down below. This can help you a lot. Now, just remember these examples, right? There is some mistake. They should have a comma. There should be a comma after the connectors, okay? All right, everyone, good job today, and I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson, and I hope to see you again in the next one. Goodbye.